fade in from black. And it's up to you guys where you'd like to go after the brig. Um, if you're ready for dinner with Captain Jenner, we can head that direction.
Sure.
I think that's good.
Okay. All right. So yeah, you guys get the comms saying everybody gets dressed up in their formal attire. And head over. Uh, and Captain Jenner is there waiting, and along with, let's see, no, she's by herself. So,
Can I get something out of my system?
go ahead.
Captain Jenner has a theme song.
Oh,
It's from ELO. It's "Don't Bring Me Down," Bruce.
oh wow, wow, ashamed
it.
of yourself, sir.
I should be ashamed of yourself. I mean, I should be ashamed of myself.
All right, so you guys get to the door, chime in. She welcomes you in. From earlier, she was just kind of in her uniform. Now in her dress uniform to entertain guests. Ask all of you to take your seat to enjoy dinner.
All right.
All right, and then so she kind of opens up the floor. She's so what would you all like to know?
What's on the menu?
Whoa.
I've prepared the replicator. We're going through the replicator. I hope you don't mind. But I could not bring my personal chef with me. So we're going to be having just a steak with a nice roasted asparagus and a nice cheese sauce on that. If that's to your liking. If not, I can have the replicator put something else together.
I'll be fine as long as it's rare.
I will note it.
I'll take a fillet of salmon with salmon roe and fried salmon skin roll.
Okay. You see her kind of lift a hand, and her assistant actually comes out and acknowledges and goes off to go get the or go get the stuff from the replicator.
Why are you looking at me like that? I like fish.
So I want to thank you all for letting me use your station for my research. I do greatly appreciate it.
You know.
All right. How is your research coming?
I think we're making some great progress. And actually, later, after we're done with dinner, I'd like to take you down to one of the cargo bays and show you precisely what it is we're working on. But first, how? Oh, go ahead.
Very well.
That sounds good.
But first, what are your impressions of the EMH that the Vulcan doctor is working on?
Seems all right.
I must say the likeness for me is a little bit chilling, as she does quite emulate my grandmother quite well.
You did kind of have that. I'm gonna make you a tray of cookies and also heal your horrifying disease kind of vibe.
Hmm. Yes, I very much get that.
Yeah. At the same time, which was weird.
Yes, I find it quite odd myself. And so, are you familiar with what our research is doing?
A
Not
little bit.
Or
necessarily.
okay,
I
Yeah.
don't, anyways.
I have no idea.
all right. I was hoping some of my team would work with you, but
Nope.
understandably so, things may not come up, and I know you are all running a station here.
It's been
Yep.
a busy week.
It's been a very busy week.
So, we're I'm actually continuing some research where my grandmother left off. She with the Arcturus incident where the Arias plague was generated. Doo, doo, doo. Sorry. Uh, her work, my grandmother's work ended as soon as she discovered the pulse wave that actually disrupted the signals and allegedly destroyed any full version of the the plague, as it were. But I've been doing some research, and I am not completely convinced that it was a plague.
What do you think it was?
I think I think it may have actually been something trying to communicate with us.
Some
Like
sort
a
of
life form?
Possibly.
some sort of linguistic programming or auditory programming that transfers itself upon um, basically intake with whoever's
Whoa, sorry, we're getting some feedback somewhere.
it's Ray.
Okay. Okay.
I thought that the EPS conduits were acting up.
No, you know they do.
Yeah, they do.
Yeah.
I'll have to look into that.
You do that, Lieutenant.
Um, yeah, that kind of took me a little off.
We're bugged. We're being bugged. No, I'm kidding.
Bugs! Come on, you apes! You want to live forever?
And I think my grandmother may have. I don't want to use a too harsh a term, as not to disrespect the captain, but I do think her ship, the USS Pasteur, did have a full recording of the vector, the vector in which it spread, and when it did spread, to give you a little more background, the and part of the reason why I'm not quite sure, I don't think it was merely a disease, was that when one heard the song, as it were, there were they were able to get some scans done showing that the neural pathways of the victims were being rewritten and overwritten, and that is what was causing what I believe was causing the the insanity, the torture that they all faced.
No, it doesn't bode well.
Interesting.
And I think, oh, go on.
I wish we had a doctor here to help explain some of this, because I don't quite understand uh, how something such as music can have that kind of effect on a person. However, I am not a musician either, so it just seems so unusual to me.
And that it is. It's not a vector we have previously had the fortune of encountering. It's quite fascinating because we're not sure quite how it is, but that's part of the purpose of the EMH. This model is to emulate that song pattern to see if we can't recreate or almost reverse engineer what that signal truly was constructed of, or if that was just the vector in which it was. If there was more information, more something there than just the sounds.
Kind of like a hidden signal, an encrypted message within.
Yes, but on the biological level.
See, that's where you lose me again. But I'm trying to understand it using concepts I know.
Yeah, so much like your engineering would have a signal that could piggyback on
An encrypted signal embedded within another. Yes.
exactly, very very similar to that, only again at a biological and natural ability to spread matter of sorts.
It basically enters an organism, and the sound wave becomes a brain wave. Is what you're saying?
That's a bit oversimplification, but yes, for the purposes of this, I think that's quite accurate.
If I recall, someone had said that they have been unable to listen to the message without being infected. Now, has anyone attempted to visually inspect the waveform without being impacted?
Yes, visual inspection. So, because of my grandmother's decision, the Starfleet has no record of the full song. Let's call it a song. The full song that spread the neurological rewriting signal. So we've not been able to study it completely. What we do have are fragments. We've been able to piece them together as best we can, but we still, just the audio alone is, there still is something missing. And that is actually why I have come here to this station, why I've requested this station's help. And I actually, because of your advanced science bays or research bays, I've actually had a team working on a signal pinpointing. Well, they've actually found we've just reconstructed a tight beam or a signal from a device from that planet, from Arcturus 5, that trying to think the best way to put it. It appears to have had data on it. A physical satellite had data on it that was sent in two directions. It was on a tight beam transmission that went in two separate directions. One is back to Arcturus 5. The other further out to a destination we do not know.
Have you tried triangulating that particular signal?
Well, we have a general idea. We know what direction it's going. We're going to, at some point, we may need to follow it. That is my eventual goal. But and so all of this has been going on while you guys are eating dinner, and it's been back and forth. Um, and you're kind of finishing out without even realizing it. You're finishing up dinner and still engaged in the conversation, and she seems to have. It's almost as if like the conversation was so engaging that she didn't eat. It feels that way, but you can't exactly. You feel like you saw food in front of her at some point. Um, but as all of you kind of clear your plate, she says, If you all don't mind, I would love to take you to my find."
Sure.
Everybody else coming with?
Yes.
I
Yes.
push back from the table, adjust my pants.
Oh my goodness.
And I follow her, I guess, over to the door.
Okay. So yeah. So, or does anybody else want to role play anything further out?
What kind of surface feelings am I getting?
You're getting mostly excitement. That kind of sense of a life's work is close to culmination. Like she's coming to the apex of discovery, a giddiness, and there's also there's something hidden underneath. That there's a hint of not 100% honesty, but it's also not outside something that could be rationally explained by the fact that she is a captain working on a special project.
Okay.
Um,
To the turbo lift.
all right. So as you guys all get in the turbo lift, head down to the lab.
I hum along to Iwo Jima.
So as you guys are walking in, you open like the shuttle bay doors open up, or the bay doors open up. You walk in and you see this large, or well, not large, well, large-ish, medium. We'll go with medium. Um, what used to be a probably about 3 meters wide, a sphere, a white metal sphere. It's got pock marks all over it, scars, um, stuff that you would see in like something that's been out in space for a while. So it looks like space junk, and it's been split into kind of three pieces.
I approach and I start picking through it.
Okay, start like hands on.
Well, yeah, I want to like, take a look at it, pick it up if I can, or shift things around, get the
Okay.
full picture.
Okay, so the captain politely clears her throat in your direction.
Oh, sorry, can't help myself.
Yes, indeed. My team is. I would appreciate you taking a little more care with breadcrumb. Wow! As you drop something, nice.
I did.
Oh.
Sorry.
I didn't do it.
So in a time that you picked it up, you could. Well, or any of you. There's an opportunity to do a science check to see if you can kind of observe anything about the.
Can I do an engineering check?
You can. I'm trying to think how we do this because I can't tell you what it's really for yet, but.
I mean, would I be able to determine like what kind of materials it has, what kind of power supply, You know,
So
tell me about the hardware. That's what I want to know.
I'll give it to you. Let's go. Let's go. Reason and engineering. Difficulty 3.
Caramba. Okay. Let's see.
Oh, and I never knocked your momentum down for the scene change.
Let's see. I'm used to improvised engineering. You know, that's one of my focuses. So I'm used to to cobbling things together and you know, seeing various connections between miscellaneous components.
I see where you're going, but I don't think that's gonna play here.
Oh, okay. Well then, can I use a momentum, fellow teammates?
I mean, you could always give me threat.
I heard a yes. Okay, I'm gonna use a momentum. So that'll give me 3.
Okay, I'll knock your momentum down.
Anybody want us to assist or have a way to assist?
This is no assist on this one.
Okay.
I mean, you've got another 2 momentum. You could buy a 4th die.
Yeah, but it would cost us the rest of our momentum, and I don't want to do that.
I mean, you still have the threat pool. You can always add to that.
And if I were to, hypothetically, if I were to add one more die via threat, how many threat would that cost me?
It would cost you 2 threat.
No.
Okay.
I am going to take the risk.
All right. I'll be biscuits.
Booyah!
For real? Oh man. Okay, so
2-1, which is like 2 crits.
Wait, no. You only have 1-1.
What? It shows me.
You've got a 1, an 8, and a 3.
Oh, the thing shows me different.
Oh, so over in the chat bar,
yeah,
it says 112.
Yes.
So those aren't the dice roll; those are the successes.
Oh, well, still, it's a good roll.
No, it was a great roll for 3 dice. Getting 4 successes is great. So I'm going to go ahead and add to your momentum pool.
Put that back. Put it back. Thank you.
I put it back. Yeah, it earned itself back.
Mm-hmm.
So upon inspection, you, the makeup of it is a metal very similar to beryllium, but it's laced with very complex circuits all throughout. There's definitely evidence of a fusion supply, and there's also you're also seeing some robotic manufacturing system in there.
Is everything consistent with Federation technology?
Not entirely. The beryllium is definitely, it's a beryllium alloy kind of thing. Like, it's similar but not beryllium. And the circuits are, it's like you can see how it works, but it's not Federation code, or like it's not Federation code. Again,
it's a custom job.
The other thing that you can tell from this, it is about 1,000 years old.
It's very old.
Yes.
Interesting. It seems it's not exactly consistent with Federation technology, and it's very, very old. Very old. It's intriguing, that's for sure.
And she kind of, yes, it is. It's actually, so this is breadcrumb 1. I've called it breadcrumb because I think it's going to lead me back to, it's going to lead me to the conclusion of my research that my mother and her mother before her began. This piece was found above Arcturus 5 in orbit. It is made of a beryllium alloy that has that we've so far been able to analyze is having interstellar hydrogen as a primary component in the alloy.
Interesting. They don't
And
make them like this anymore.
they do not at all. It's it's at least 1,000 years old, maybe older. And the only other, now this is only a recent catalog into Starfleet. We previously had one, or had something of a similar alloy from the planet of Arcturus, but it was destroyed by my grandmother's method of, and I use this term loosely, curing the plague. I believe that may have been a lander of sorts.
A lander,
Yes.
as in something that touches down on another planet, some kind of spacecraft or a component to a spacecraft.
Exactly. Almost. I'm thinking it may have been what Starfleet discovered before may have been a shuttlecraft of types, or a probe, um, a scout type vessel.
Have you determined what kind of propulsion it used? Have you discovered any information about what type of propulsion it used? Maybe in your other chunks of bread
The
that you have here?
Oh, no. This is all of this together is breadcrumb one.
Oh,
Yes.
I misunderstood.
No.
I thought this
Completely.
pile was breadcrumb one.
No. The whole is breadcrumb one, or what I'm deeming it.
I see.
The only information so far that we've been able to pull from it is the signal, the fine beam signal heading in two directions. But I do believe, because it did include the coordinates of Arcturus 5, I do believe there is the other coordinates are where breadcrumb 2 is.
And okay, so, repeat that one more time. You
So,
think?
mhm. I think it may, the second coordinate, the second set of coordinates that we've been able to extract is from, or is the location of breadcrumb 2, a second satellite.
Where did you get these coordinates that you believe is breadcrumb two?
From the circuitry inside, we've been able to extract a very minuscule amount of data, and that is the data that we've pulled.
Interesting.
Hmm.
Interesting. Can I see some of this data?
Yeah, she actually waves over one of her research team, and he hands you a pad.
Oh, where did you come from? Thank you. Okay, I'm gonna look through the pad, scanning her notes.
Okay, what are you looking for?
Um, I'm just checking the veracity of what she's told us. Is she is there is the data that she extracted, is it truly coordinates, or could it be interpreted as something else? If it is coordinates, is there any indication what could be there?
So.
I'm keep in mind I have a focus of cryptology and computers, so
Okay, so no, you definitely find everything that she's talking about is in that report. But if you would do an insight plus command check, this will be a difficulty one.
okay. And a check is just a regular.
Well, it's a regular roll, or it's a task. So you
Yeah.
could, I mean, if you wanted to use momentum to
Nah.
get extra, it's just a difficulty one though.
Can I apply any focuses?
Uh, no, not on this one.
Okay.
Okay, 2 successes. All right, so 1 momentum in the pool. The one thing you do notice as you're going through this is that you do not see a location or where this artifact was procured.
Okay.
Everything else checks out, though. And as far as like a reference in Starfleet database as to where it is, it just references a portion of unexplored space within the Shackleton Expanse.
Okay. There's no information here about where exactly you found it. You said above Arcturus 5, correct?
That's where I'm told it was found.
By your grandmother.
No, my grandmother didn't find this.
Oh.
No, actually, I procured this artifact from an Orion trader.
And the Orion trader told you it was from Arcturus 5.
Yes.
And you trust this Orion trader?
No more than one would. But at the same time, I have no reason to not trust Mr. Vasco.
Interesting. Okay. Well, we do not. I personally would feel better about this information if we could corroborate its what is the word I'm looking for? Its provenance.
Indeed. So do you guys want to look into the trader's name, or do you want to? What do you want to do? How do you want to go about this?
Do we have a security person with us?
Ooh. Lieutenant McCott, do you have security stats?
Well, we've used a lot of security, but I believe they probably should have some people available at this point, right?
Oh no, we're talking about your skill, your personal skill.
Yeah.
Oh, my personal skills.
Mhm.
Hold up a second. I have to review my academy training. I have three levels in security.
Okay.
Me too.
I have 3 levels in security. Thank you.
Because I think we should investigate this Orion trader, see if he, if he has a Starfleet record, so to speak.
That's your call, Ops. Lieutenant McCott.
All right. So I task roll.
Yeah. So you want to look into you do want to in fact look into him. That'll be a presence plus security. With a difficulty, we'll say difficulty 2.
Okay. Task +1.
Yes, if you yeah. But I need your stats if you're not going to use a character sheet.
Presence is 10 and security is 3. That's 13.
Okay. So
Unlucky.
Oh
13.
no, so just task, unless you want to buy bonus dice.
Gotcha. All right.
Shit. Okay. So 2 successes. All right. So you get it. So your research.
GM just cursed the day I was born.
The dice are
Now he's got to make something up. We made him work, dude. We made him work.
So research into this guy, it takes a little bit of work. Like you're going through his file. He's pretty clean. The one thing that you do notice is that he is he works for a mercantile guild, that happens to be run by one Captain Tulana Volko, the captain of the Orion ship that is docked at the station.
Now that's a cool. Now that's an interesting coincidence.
I don't believe in coincidences.
Uh,
As my one-time mentor, Security Chief Odo, used to say, "There's no such thing as a coincidence."
So if you'd like to run another presence plus security check, this would be a difficulty 2. And this is just potentially further information.
What am I looking for?
Presence plus security.
No, but what did you say?
Oh, I'm not. There's potentially more information. Yes. There may be something that you notice.
Okay. So I got a task +1?
No, so it'll be a task unless you want to buy extra dice.
I feel lucky.
What just happened?
We've had some sort of malfunction in the communication system. Hold up. Let me operations chief to ops.
Go ahead, Chief.
Can you do me a favor and run a diagnostic, a level 1 diagnostic on the communication systems?
Aye, Lieutenant. We'll get right on it.
What's the ETA on that?
Approximately 2 hours, sir.
You have an hour and a half.
Aye, sir.
Thank you much. McCott out. Gotta keep them on their toes, you know.
Mm-hmm. I think we may have lost Kestra. Hopefully not. So yeah, presence plus security check. So you're gonna roll 2 dice. It's a difficulty 2. So you gotta beat that 13 again. Or you can buy extra dice with momentum and or threat.
Why are you looking at me like that, D2?
How did you know I was really looking at you like that?
I'm a cat. I've got whiskers. What do you want? Listen, I know I've been running my new team a little bit ragged, but I want them used to working hard. I'm going to lay off of them in the coming weeks.
Okay. I was going to suggest if you want to go ahead and use some momentum, feel free to get an extra die.
Yeah, it's good to get a running start. Okay, GM. I'd like to use one of my momentum.
Okay. You have used 1 momentum, so now you would be rolling task +1.
Understood. All right, here goes nothing. Let's see. Life forms. No, sorry. History. Looking into his history.
Okay, so no critical failures, but you only got 1 success. So, yeah, so going through this file, something feels off, but that's about all you can glean from it. Like something just isn't sitting right, but you're not sure what it is.
This is quite interesting. Any thoughts, Lieutenant Editu?
I trust your judgment in this instance, but I don't see anything unusual at this time.
There must be more to this fella.
Perhaps we should go speak with the Orion captain.
That may be a good course of action. Although I doubt she's going to be straight with us.
We have we had a beta droid with us.
Speak of the devil.
Oh no, that was me asking her.
All right. Well, I'm afraid that she's needed elsewhere at the moment. Hopefully, she can join us, but we might have to go without her.
True.
First, though, do we have anything else we need to do before we go? Maybe we can stall for time.
Anything else about breadcrumb one that we should know about?
So, are you asking Captain Jenner or asking the GM?
Jenner.
Okay. Uh, d- Nothing more. So let me level with you
Please.
because I think you might be able to help me. So I believe that my grandmother was terrified and under incredible pressure.
Terrified.
Very yes. During the outbreak, it was spreading rather rapidly, and I think she was in a desperation was trying to save as many lives of the colony on the planet as she could, and made a terrible mistake. I think the Aria plague was an intelligence using Breadcrumb One and the network, uh, and its network. I believe it's to be part of It's part of how that entity travels through time and or through space. They go through vast distances by transmitting themselves.
So it's some kind of electronic or digital life form.
And I'm not sure the original, but I think that's maybe how they would explore. Um,
How would they have gotten the satellites or these various nodes in its travel?
well, and that's the thing. I do believe it was a fusion-based reactor that got these, but I think it would have taken quite a bit of time to, to get them here. But if you look at the wear and tear on this satellite, it does appear to have traveled great distance. Now, what I think may have happened with Arcturus, the colony there, is that the whatever it was, whether or not the maybe it was incompatible with the colonist DNA or the damage it sustained. I haven't been able to figure out if that's what caused the malfunction. I don't think this was an attack of sorts or anything like that. I think it may have been an incompatibility or some damage that happened to the satellite to Breadcrumb 1 along the way. I don't think that my grandmother actually cured a plague. I think she may have severely mangled an attempt at first contact. And I think the breadcrumb satellites are proof that the Aria plague's homeworld is still out there and accessible to us if we can find it.
Accessible. So you think there might be one of these satellites out there in working condition?
I think we might be able to find the home planet.
Now that's a big order. Um, from the
I
sounds of it, you make it seem like if it is out there, it's going to be so far away.
From the research we've been able to do, I believe we'll be able to, if we get to Breadcrumb 2, we'll be able to. We would be able to triangulate the homeworld location. And I truly do want to, if this was indeed my grandmother's mistake, I want to right that wrong for the people that did perish.
It's commendable, um, but you can't bring back the dead.
Tell that to Dr. Creepy. Excuse me, pardon me for my unprofessionalism, but I've been talking with Starfleet Medical, to get authorization to bring this back. And while I cannot bring my grandmother back, I can at least correct an error and hopefully do right by the people that did perish for her mistake. An atonement of honor, if you will.
I can relate to that. I can understand that. But I just wanted to be sure that you weren't going into this with unreasonable expectations. I mean, this thing is very old, very old. It's likely and not maintained well either. Um, it's likely that we get out there and we don't find anything at all. I just don't want you to.
This may be true, Lieutenant, but this is my only chance.
I can understand wanting
And
to.
I would regret it the rest of my life if I did not at least try. But in order for me to try, I will need your help. Because I need a ship.
Well, that's not my decision, but
Neither is it mine.
Yes, but you have your commander's ear, do you not? I don't wish to use my rank.
We're willing to submit your request, but to be perfectly frank, that's a grave violation of our purview as commanders and our relationship with our with our commanding officer. We really have to do it officially.
So,
I appreciate your position, but and we will submit your request, and I'm sure the commander will consider it. If it is something that is worthwhile, he will absolutely, definitely put in the resources for you. But we can't do that. We cannot do that.
Indeed. If you would be so kind as to place the request, I would greatly, greatly appreciate it.
Absolutely, ma'am.
Well, if there's nothing else you have for me, then
yeah, I think that's all we need for now. I'm sure we will have more questions soon, but for now, thank you for your time and the information you have given us.
and almost as mysteriously as she disappeared, Lieutenant Grax is back.
Oh my goodness,
And
where was
present.
she?
Good to have you back, Lieutenant. I trust everything is in order back in ops.
Absolutely.
Good, good.
So just as you're all getting ready to head out of the shuttle bay, you hear something behind you, and you all turn to see Breadcrumb 1 being transported away. It is quite obviously if I remember correctly, the red glow of an Orion transporter.
What the hell?
Clap baskets.
And we will fade to black.